ever walked away from a conversation thinking, did they even get what I was trying to say? Maybe it was during a Zoom call where your idea got talked over, or a heart-to-heart with someone you care about that ended with, let's just drop it. That quiet sting, the feeling of being misunderstood, is something most of us carry around more often than we admit. And the wild thing is, we keep talking, texting, typing, but still feel disconnected. In a world where we're more connected than ever, DMs, emails, Slack, FaceTime, why do so many of our conversations still feel hollow? Why is it so hard to just connect for real? Here's the truth. Most people never learned how to actually communicate. We learned how to speak. We learned how to listen. But real communication? The kind that makes people lean in, nod, feel seen? That's a whole different art, and it's not just for TED speakers or therapists, or those ultra-charismatic people who can talk to a brick wall and make it blush. Nope, it's for you. It's for all of us. Because whether you're pitching an idea at work, navigating a tricky convo with your partner, or just trying to say what you mean without sounding like a weirdo, communication is the core skill that shapes your whole life. This audiobook is your guide, not the stiff corporate, improve your public speaking type, but the real, messy, human stuff. The kind that helps you speak up without spiraling into overthinking, that helps you connect without pretending, that helps you get through, not just get by. Let's start at the very beginning, because the biggest communication problem isn't about what you say. It's what you don't even realize you're doing. Chapter 1. Why nobody gets you. You ever watch someone talk and think, they're saying words, but I have no clue what they mean? Yeah, that's more common than you think. And sometimes, we're that person. We're talking, explaining, expressing, but people aren't feeling us. Not really. Here's the thing. Communication isn't just the words you use. It's the energy, the emotion, the presence. It's what happens between the words. And most of us, somewhere along the way, started communicating on autopilot. We say what we think we should say, what we think sounds smart or chill or confident, but inside we're unsure, distracted, or flat out afraid of saying the wrong thing. And guess what? People feel that. Even if they don't realize it, they pick up on that energy, and your words fall flat. Take my friend Max, brilliant guy, super sharp. But every time he spoke up in meetings, it was like the room hit snooze. No one paid attention. He'd say, I guess we could maybe try this. And everyone would just move on. One day, his manager pulled him aside and said, Max, I know you've got good ideas, but you're not owning them. You're not landing. That hit hard. Because Max was trying. He just didn't realize he was communicating with doubt, not confidence, with hesitation, not conviction. And it wasn't about changing his whole personality. It was about flipping a switch in how he showed up, how he delivered his message, not just what he said. That switch starts with awareness. Ask yourself this: when you speak, what do people feel? Not what do they hear, but what do they feel? Because here's a truth most people never learn. People remember how you made them feel way more than they remember the exact words you used. That's Maya Angelou wisdom right there. And it's real. You could give the perfect pitch, but if your energy is off, if you seem unsure, guarded, fake, it won't land. Meanwhile, someone else might stumble over their words, but if they speak from a place of realness, they'll connect. So how do you make people feel you? You start by being present, fully there. Not rehearsing your next line while the other person is talking, not trying to sound perfect, but listening, actually listening, and then responding like a human, not a script. Let me be real. I used to be that guy who rehearsed conversations in the shower. You know, planning out exactly how I'd say something. And then, when the moment came, boom, forgot half of it. Or worse, I said it too perfectly, and the other person looked at me like I just quoted a motivational poster. Turns out, what people crave is authenticity. They want to hear your real voice. They want to feel that you're not just saying the right thing, you mean it. And when you stop trying so hard to impress and start focusing on impact, everything shifts. You don't need to be the loudest. You don't need fancy vocabulary. You just need clarity, emotion, and intent. So if you've ever thought, why don't people take me seriously? Or, why does it feel like I'm always explaining myself? This chapter is your wake-up call. You're not broken. You're not boring. You just need to realign your voice with your truth. Speak less from your head, more from your gut. Don't just share information. Share intention. Because that's what sticks. That's what moves people. In the next chapter, we'll dive into the habits that are secretly killing your communication and how to fix them. Spoiler alert, it's not about talking more. It's about talking differently. And you're gonna want to hear this. Ready? Let's go deeper. Chapter 2, the hidden habits that mute your message. Let's talk about self-sabotage, communication style, because sometimes it's not about what you meant to say. It's about the habits you've picked up that water down your message before it even leaves your lips. And the worst part? You probably don't even know you're doing it. Take the word just. Sounds innocent, right? But think about how often we say things like, I just wanted to check in, or just throwing this out there. That little word, just, is a confidence killer. It signals that you're unsure, that your voice doesn't want to take up space. It's like whispering in a room that's already too loud. Then there's qualifying. You know, when you start a sentence with, I'm not an expert, but, or, this might be stupid, but, let me ask you something. Why would anyone listen to a message that the speaker already discredited? It's like serving a meal and telling people, hey, this might taste awful. No one's hungry after that. And don't even get me started on filler words. Like, these aren't evil. Everyone uses them sometimes. But when they flood your sentences, they become noise. They distract. They dilute. They make people tune out. Because if you don't sound certain, why should they pay attention? But here's the wild twist. All of these habits, they're not random. They come from fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of rejection. Fear of being wrong. That fear is ancient. It's hardwired. Your brain wants to keep you safe, and saying something bold or direct, that's risky. What if they don't like it? What if they push back? What if they laugh? But guess what's riskier? Never being heard, never being taken seriously, never building the kind of relationships or careers you want because you kept dimming your voice to make others comfortable. That's why awareness is step 1. Start noticing your habits. Catch the justs. Call out the qualifiers. Replace uncertainty with clarity. Instead of, I just think we should maybe try, say, I believe this approach will work because, instead of this might sound dumb, say, here's an idea worth considering. You don't need to be aggressive. You just need to be intentional. And here's the beautiful part. When you strip away those habits, your natural voice shines. You stop sounding like someone trying to be liked and start sounding like someone worth listening to. Confidence isn't loud. It's clear. It's grounded. And it's learnable. Let's move into the next chapter, where we flip the focus completely, from how you talk to how you listen. Chapter 3, shut up and listen. Okay, real talk. We suck at listening. Like, really bad. And don't worry, I'm not pointing fingers. I've been there too. We think we're listening, but what we're usually doing is just waiting for our turn to talk. Or worse, planning what to say next while the other person's still mid-sentence. But here's the thing. Listening is where real communication begins. It's where connection actually happens. Imagine this. You're venting to a friend about a rough day, and halfway through your story, They cut in with, "Well, you should have just said no to your boss," or, "That reminds me of what happened to me last week." You're like, "Cool, thanks for making this about you." Sound familiar? That kind of thing doesn't build trust, it builds distance. Listening is not just hearing words, it's receiving a person. It's making them feel safe. It's letting them know, "I see you, I hear you, I'm with you." It's not sexy or dramatic, it doesn't get applause, but it builds loyalty, intimacy, respect. People remember the ones who made them feel understood. They return to those conversations. They open up. And here's the plot twist. The better you listen, the more power your words carry when you finally do speak. Ever noticed how the quietest person in the room, when they finally say something, everyone leans in? That's not magic. That's presence. That's being in tune. So, how do you become a great listener? You stop trying to fix. You stop trying to win. You stop thinking everything needs a response. Instead, you show up like this. "Tell me more. What was that like for you? I hear you. That sucks." You create space. You let silence exist without panic. You nod, you mirror, you validate. And when it's your turn to speak, people listen because they trust that you listened. Whether it's your partner, your coworker, your client, or your kid, people don't need perfect words. They need your attention. Your actual, undivided, phone down, judgment off attention. That's how you stop being a background character in your own conversations and start being the one people turn to when they need real talk. Now, let's shift gears, because once you've learned to truly listen and speak with clarity, there's one more piece that ties it all together, and it's not what you think. Chapter 4, Body Says Everything. Here's the uncomfortable truth. You've been communicating this whole time, even when you weren't talking. Your body, your face, your tone, your vibe, it's all louder than your words. And most people are sending mixed signals without realizing it. Ever said, "I'm fine," while your face was clearly screaming, "I'm very much not fine"? Yeah, people pick up on that. They might not call it out, but they feel it. And suddenly, the whole conversation shifts. There's tension, confusion, mistrust, because your body is either backing up your words or betraying them. Let me take you to a job interview I once bombed. I walked in with a killer resume, solid answers, and zero eye contact. I slouched. I fiddled with my ring. I spoke fast, looked nervous. Everything I didn't say made a louder impression than what I did. Guess who didn't get a call back? It took me a while to learn that confident communication isn't just about what comes out of your mouth. It's about congruence. When your tone, your posture, your face, your energy all align with your message, that's when you become magnetic. You don't have to fake it. You just have to own it. Start with your voice. Slow it down. Breathe. Let your tone reflect intention, not panic. Speak like you mean it, not like you're apologizing for taking up space. Next, your eyes. Look at people, not like you're staring into their soul, but enough to show you're there, that you're connected, that you care. Then your body, shoulders back, chin up. Relax your hands. Use gestures that match your words, not distract from them. You don't need to perform. You just need to be present and comfortable being seen. Because people don't just listen with their ears. They watch you. They feel you. They mirror your energy. And when your whole self communicates in sync, your message sticks. This chapter might sound like small stuff, but it's the kind of small stuff that makes a huge difference. It's what separates forgettable interactions from unforgettable impact. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to communicate under pressure, when emotions are high, when the stakes are real, and when it really matters. Spoiler? That's where most people crumble. But you won't. Let's dive in. Chapter 5. How to Stay Cool When It's Getting Heated. Ever been in an argument and later thought, why did I say that? Maybe it was a clapback you regretted. Or maybe you froze, said nothing, and then beat yourself up for not speaking up. Yeah, we've all been there. Because communicating when you're calm is one thing, but communicating when your emotions are boiling? That's a whole other game. Let's get real. When you feel attacked, misunderstood, or disrespected, your brain doesn't want to have a meaningful conversation. It wants to defend, deflect, or destroy. That's not a you problem. It's a human wiring problem. The amygdala, your brain's alarm system, takes over. And when that happens, your logical brain basically goes on vacation. You stop hearing clearly. You stop thinking clearly. And often, you end up saying things you don't mean, or saying nothing at all. But here's the good news. That reaction is trainable. Step 1, pause before you pounce. Even just one deep breath in a tense moment gives your brain a second to regroup. You don't have to respond instantly. In fact, most great communicators don't. They pause, they check in with themselves, and then they respond, not react. It's like emotional Aikido. You're not meeting fire with fire. You're redirecting the energy. Someone snaps at you in a meeting? Instead of lashing out, you ask, "Can you help me understand what's behind that?" Someone accuses you of something unfair? Try, "I want to hear your concern. Can we slow down and talk through it?" Sounds simple, right? It's not. It takes courage to be calm. But when you do it, people notice. They start to trust you, respect you. Because anyone can lose their cool. But staying grounded when the room's on fire, that's power. You don't need to win every battle. You just need to win yourself. And when you can keep your clarity in chaos, you become the voice people listen to, even in the storm. And here's the twist. Calm doesn't mean weak. It means controlled. It means intentional. It means you're not letting your emotions drive the car. You're behind the wheel. So the next time you're about to pop off, pause, breathe. Choose words that move the conversation forward, not explode it. Because emotional control is the foundation of meaningful communication. Next, let's talk about the opposite of heated conflict. Those moments when you want to open up, but don't know how. Chapter 6. The Fear of Vulnerability. Let's talk about one of the hardest things in communication. Being real, not performative real. Not curated vulnerability that sounds like, "I used to struggle, but now I'm perfect." I'm talking about the awkward, uncomfortable, actually scary kind of real. The kind where you say, "I feel left out," or "I'm scared I'm not enough," or even just, "I need help." Yeah, that kind of honesty. Here's the problem. We've been trained to think vulnerability is weakness, that if we show too much, we'll get judged, rejected, or worse, ignored. So we hide behind sarcasm. We over-explain. We keep it surface level. We become nice, but never known. And then we wonder why our relationships feel shallow, why people don't really get us, why we feel disconnected in rooms full of people. But here's the truth that changed everything for me. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's glue. It's the thing that binds people. It's how trust is built. It's the doorway to empathy, respect, love. Think about the people you're closest to, the ones you trust. Why? Probably because they've seen parts of you others haven't, and you've seen parts of them. You can't shortcut that. You have to go there. Now, I'm not saying you should trauma dump on a first date or overshare with your boss. Vulnerability doesn't mean recklessness. It means authenticity with intention. Try saying, "I'm nervous, but I care about this," or "I don't have all the answers, but I'm here to learn." Or even, "This is hard for me to say, but..." That level of honesty shifts the energy of the room. It creates safety. It invites depth. And yeah, it's risky. But you know what's riskier? Living your whole life behind a mask, never feeling truly seen, never giving others the chance to connect with the real you. Vulnerability is uncomfortable, but it's also magnetic. And the moment you get brave enough to be you, something wild happens. Other people start doing the same. Let's move to something more tactical now, because even the most open, vulnerable people struggle with this next one. Chapter 7. Stop rambling, start landing. Ever started saying something and halfway through realized you have no idea where the sentence is going? Welcome to the ramble zone. We've all been there. You start explaining a point, throw in a story, add a metaphor, backtrack, change direction. Next thing you know, you've been talking for 2 minutes and your listener looks like they've been hit with a pop quiz. Here's the truth. People don't remember long. They remember clear. In a world where attention spans are shorter than ever, clarity is everything. You don't have to sound like a TED speaker every time you talk, but you do need to respect your listener's brain. That means knowing the point you're trying to make and actually making it. Before you speak, ask yourself, what's the one thing I want them to understand? What's the emotion I want to leave them with? Then say it. Direct, bold, and without a scenic detour through 5 unrelated stories. Here's a trick I use. Speak in headlines. Don't say, "So I was thinking, and maybe this sounds dumb, but I sort of feel like." Say, "I believe we're focusing on the wrong problem." Boom. Clear, confident, catchy. You can still be human. You can still tell stories. But every story should serve a purpose. If it doesn't help your point, cut it. If it adds confusion, clarify it. And remember, silence is not your enemy. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. A pause, a breath, letting your words land instead of filling the space out of fear. Want to be a great communicator? Learn to say more by saying less, but better. In the next chapter, we'll zoom out and look at how all these skills come together. Because communication isn't just about words, it's about presence. And that's what we're about to unlock. Chapter 8. Be the person people feel safe with. Have you ever talked to someone and instantly felt like you could breathe a little easier? Maybe they didn't say anything brilliant. Maybe they weren't the loudest in the room. But something about their presence made you feel seen and safe. That right there. That's what most of us are secretly craving. Not the most eloquent words, not perfectly crafted responses, but presence. Someone who's actually there with you. But most people, they're not really present. They're distracted, planning what to say next, checking their phone, thinking about lunch, nodding politely while their mind's in a different zip code. And when we're the ones doing it, it's often not because we don't care. It's because we're nervous. We're trying to perform, to sound smart, to get it right. But here's the truth. Being present is more powerful than being impressive. It's eye contact. It's leaning in. It's the pause between their sentence and your response where they realize, whoa, they're actually listening. Because listening, really listening, is rare. When someone says, "I had a rough day," most people jump to, "You think that's bad? Let me tell you about my day." But the powerful communicator says, "I'm here. Want to talk about it?" When someone's sharing an idea, you don't interrupt with a better one. You build on theirs. You ask thoughtful questions. You show that you're not just waiting to talk. You're actually there to understand. Mind? And here's the magic. When you create space for others, they open up. They feel safer. They lean in. They start trusting you, not just as a speaker, but as a person. So next time you're in a conversation, stop worrying about the perfect reply. Show up. Pay attention. Be all in. Because presence isn't flashy, but it's magnetic. And in a noisy, scattered world, it's what people remember. Let's move to something even more powerful. The kind of communication that can change lives. Chapter 9. Words that heal. Let's be honest. Words can wreck people. One careless comment, one sarcastic jab, one angry outburst, and boom, someone's day or even their self-worth can take a hit they won't forget. We've all had it happen to us, maybe from a parent, a teacher, a friend, or even a stranger online. And if we're being really honest, we've all probably done it to someone else too. But here's the flip side, and it's wild when you realize it. Your words also have the power to heal. That one message from a friend when you felt lost, that one compliment that stuck with you for years, that one teacher who said, "I believe in you," when no one else did. Words matter. They stick. They shape identity. So what if you started using yours on purpose? What if every interaction was an opportunity to build someone up? Not with fake positivity or empty flattery, but with intentional, grounded encouragement? Try it. Tell someone you admire how they handle stress. Text your sibling that you're proud of them. Tell your coworker, you've got a gift for explaining things. Don't downplay it. Watch how people light up, how they soften, how they remember what you said. Because real connection isn't just about expressing yourself. It's about elevating others. And when you speak life into people, you become unforgettable. But healing communication also means owning your damage. If you've hurt someone, intentionally or not, go back. Own it. Say, "I was wrong. I'm sorry. I want to do better." It's not weakness. It's emotional maturity. And it changes the game. So as you grow in your communication, don't just think about clarity or charisma or confidence. Think about impact. Your words can leave scars, or they can leave seeds. Choose to plant what grows. In the final chapter, we'll bring it all together and explore how mastering communication isn't just about skills. It's about becoming the kind of person others want to hear from. Chapter 10. Become the message. Imagine this. You walk into a room, not the loudest, not the flashiest, but within 5 minutes, people lean in when you talk. They remember you. Not because you said the right words, but because you made them feel something. That is communication mastery. And the secret is, it has less to do with words and more to do with who you are when you say them. The greatest communicators don't just talk well. They live well. They embody what they say. Their tone matches their heart. Their message aligns with their actions. You trust them, not just because of how they speak, but who they are. That's what people are drawn to. Authenticity, integrity, warmth, purpose. You could memorize all the right strategies, perfect your tone, posture, pace, but if the energy behind your words doesn't match your intent, people will feel it. Think about it. Haven't you ever heard someone speak and thought, "Yeah, they're saying the right things, but I don't feel it"? That's the difference between performance and presence, between impressing and impacting. So if you truly want to master communication, don't just study language, study yourself. What are your values? What energy do you bring into a room? Do your words create connection or distance? Because here's the ultimate truth. You are the message. People remember your energy more than your sentences, your kindness more than your grammar, your honesty more than your vocabulary. And when you become someone who listens deeply, speaks intentionally, and leads with compassion, people don't just hear you, they feel you. That's how change happens. That's how movements begin. That's how relationships deepen, not through polished speeches, but through real, intentional, human connection. Conclusion. Let's pause for a second. You've just taken a journey through the layers of communication, far beyond small talk or scripted replies. You've explored confidence, clarity, presence, empathy, and truth. And now, it's your turn to use it. Not perfectly, not instantly, but consistently. Speak even when your voice shakes. Listen even when it's uncomfortable. Pause before reacting. Say the kind thing, even when no one's watching. Because every time you open your mouth, you're creating something. You're either building bridges or burning them. You're either connecting people or confusing them. You're either helping someone feel seen or invisible. And in a world where most people are yelling to be heard, you can be the one who speaks to understand. So start now. That conversation you've been avoiding? Go have it. That compliment you've been holding back? Say it. That version of you that's been hiding behind fear? Let it speak. Your voice has power, not because it's loud, but because it's yours. And if you use it well, it won't just improve your communication, it will change your life. Thanks for listening. And if this resonated with you, go check out our next video. It's all about emotional intelligence and how it shapes the way you lead, love, and live. You're not going to want to miss it. Catch you there.